Let's try this again. This is why I need an assistant. I can't believe I just went through all of that. Then I tried to get fancy and mess some stuff up. I see one person is back. Thanks for getting back on. Go ahead and hit share to this one because we got to start a new one. Oh my goodness, and Zinga. Are y'all coming back? Coming back? I had to start a new one. I tried to get fancy, and I thought that I could like minimize the live and go into the links that I need to upload for today's talk, and some kind of way that just didn't work. That just didn't work. So I had to come back out and do another one. So we back in, and we about to get it going. So first of all, for those of you that maybe are just now getting onto the live, today we are discussing the art of being in business, not just for yourself, but as yourself. It's a difference, you know. You even have entrepreneurs that are in business because they have a good business model, they have a good business sense, and they're in it to make money, and nothing is wrong with that. You know, I'd rather be in business for myself making money than in business for somebody or working on somebody else's business making money. So there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not really what we're talking about here. We're not really talking about how to be in business for yourself. We are talking about how to be in business as yourself, how to have complete creative control over your business, and how to show up authentically every single time and be paid for it. You understand? So there's a difference. We're talking about how to show up to be you, and people give you money for being yourself, you know? So that is what we really want to get into. That is the dream. Thank you, Dominique, for the share. I appreciate that. That is the dream. That is the purpose. That's living in your divine dream and in your divine purpose. And that's what we want to talk about today. So I've coined the term self-aligned entrepreneurship, and I am a self-aligned entrepreneurship coach. I help clients get into the business of being who they are. I help clients figure out how to monetize off of their natural skills and gifts and passions and talents and things of that nature. And that's what I love to do. That's what comes naturally to me, so I like to help others do it as well. So that's what we want to get into today. I would like to hear from everybody that's watching the live. I would like to hear where are you at in terms of being in the business of being you? Are you just getting started? Have you already established your business? And if you have established your business, what is your business? Okay, so let us know what type of business it is that you do or wish to do, so that as we have this conversation, and this is a conversation, y'all, I do want y'all to talk back. As we have this conversation, I can tailor some of the examples and some of the things that I say to what you post in the comment section. So please go ahead and post in the comment section what type of business you are in. Okay? And as I said before, like, comment, share this video, because once you share it, you are going to get a link to a free being in the business of being you resource that I have developed. That's part of what took me so long getting started with today. I just wanted to make sure I had everything together for y'all. So I'm going to send you the link to get that resource, and then you'll be able to get started with the first half of today's conversation. Let me see. Okay. More. Boom. All right. Adrian, hello. Indiasia, hello. Brother Rafiq, hello. Brother Laverne. Laverne, Brother Dorian, or Sister Dorian, Oliver, De Niro. What's up? What's up? Sensei, we're going to need to get you a headset. We need to get you a headset because you be needing to talk and you be needing to hear. Hey, Leia, you're back. Walt, Shaniqua, Mama Hadassaw. Yes. Hey, everybody. So, thank you. Thank you for being here today to discuss being in the business of being you. My name is Nzinga Bird, and I am the owner of Sweet Sister Splash Culture Center here in Cincinnati, Ohio, located in Over the Rhine. So let me position my phone so that we can have a good conversation. That is supposed to be silent. Yeah. Here we go. I don't want any notifications going off. Hey, hey, what's up, Jazz? Okay, Empress, you here? I've been waiting on you. Let me see. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. I need to put something to prop my phone up. And y'all see that? Nope, that should do it. Okay, so how's the volume? Please let me know how the volume is. Let me know how I'm sounding to everybody. I want to make sure that you can hear me. Somebody let me know how the volume is, and then I want to get started. So as I said, I am the owner of Sweet Sister Splash Culture Center here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we host all different types of programs, events, classes, and workshops all throughout the year. And I am often asked, okay, so here we go. I am often asked, how do we come up with so many different topics? How do we come up with so many different workshops, from astrology workshops to yoga workshops to business workshops to things for children, to holistic health, to African spirituality? You know, we can kind of cover a very broad spectrum of topics that we cover here in the space. And like I said, I'm often asked, how do y'all come up with so much? Let me put this on off, because here we go. I'm not gonna be able to deal with that vibrating. And I always say that the workshops that I do, that I create, and that I host in this space are a reflection of me. It's just a reflection of what I'm thinking about, what I'm studying, what I'm practicing. And I know now, off of having the experience of being in this space, that if I'm thinking about it, if I'm interested in it, if I'm studying it, I'm not the only one. There's somebody else that this connects to, because we are all connected in one way or another. Sometimes we just in different places at different times, and there's levels to this. But I know that I'm not alone. And if I put it out there, it's going to be somebody that it resonates with. Somebody's going to be attracted to it, and somebody's going to show up and be a part of it. Sometimes I may put something out there and maybe it's trending. Maybe just the consciousness and the awareness of it is just on a universal high. And I may put something out there. For instance, I may put Chakras 101 out there and have a full house, have 20 people in here, because like I said, somebody else is studying it, want to know more about it, living in it, practicing it, you know. Other times I may put something out there and maybe 1 or 2 people show up, you know. And it's just a matter of where you're at and what's connecting with you. But I never put events, programs, classes, and workshops out there with the intent or with the thought of, what's going to get people into the space. I used to. When I first opened up the space, I was more conscious of hosting events that I felt, people would like. And, sometimes that worked. We were very new at the time, so it's hard to really gauge what the reach was and how many people I was actually connecting with to bring into the space anyway. But I stopped doing that because I seen that when I show up from a more authentic place, and when I just show up because this is what I want to do, I connect with more people. Now, I know that may be a little confusing, like, oh, were you supposed to think about your target population and who your clients are and how to connect with them? And yes, that is a vital part of being in business. But now when I think about who my target population is, I think about myself. I think about my own demographics and how those demographics connect to the Cincinnati community. And that is how I determine how to market particular events and programs. What would appeal to me? What would I be attracted to? Because I know somebody else will too. Because I know that we're connected. And that is being in the business of being you. Being able to show up as your authentic self and be paid for it. Who doesn't want to live that life? I mean, really, how many of you all are going to work every day or working in a business every day, and there's a protocol that you follow, and you may believe in what you do, but there are still parts of you that you're holding back from your workspace. And that could be for a various, amount of reasons, but there are part of you that you're holding back from your workspace. Everybody wants to be able to show up as who they are and be valued and be compensated for their value, for what they are truly worth. So I love this art of being in the business of being myself, and I love getting deeper and deeper into it because I'm getting deeper and deeper into myself. And the deeper I get into myself, the more I understand my value and my worth, the more I appreciate it, and the more I show up and I stand in that truth, that this is what I have to offer, and this is what it is worth. And I always get what's due to me. You understand? So that's really what I want for everybody to do. We got new people coming in. Everybody is coming in. What's up, y'all? I love all of y'all, and I want to speak to everybody, but I'm going to go back, and I'm going to read what Adrian said. So, Adrian, you are in the holistic wellness business, mind, body, and spirit, considering the person not just as a physical body only, but you see people holistically. And you also offer 9 non-prescription, non-surgical solutions to healing. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. We so very need that in this oversaturated Western medical society. We need to really get back in tune with aiding our bodies to heal itself. So that's excellent work you're doing. Let me ask you this, because you, I believe, are the only person that has commented so far in saying what your business is. Let me ask you this. When did you know that that is what you were meant to do, Adrian? When did you know that you were a healer? When did you know that you cared so deeply about people that you wanted them to be healthy? And tell us about that experience. Did you discover that as a child? Did you go through a personal experience that brought you back into that knowing of yourself? Because to heal someone holistically, mind, body, and spirit, that's just not a job. That's a mission. That's a life mission. That's a life goal. That's a life purpose. That's a divine purpose. That's a divine gift. And that's really what I want to talk about in this first series of being in the business of being you. How do you unlock what your divine gift and what your divine purpose is? How do you do that? Do you know what your divine gift and your divine purpose is? I believe that everybody was placed on this earth to fulfill something magnificent. And I don't just mean the magnificent things that we do in our everyday lives, okay? So I want to push you further than limiting yourself to say I was put on this earth to love people or to be a parent or, you know, to, you know, show the world what it looks like to be a woman. You know, those are great things. I'm not saying that those things are not powerful things, but I feel like we have more to offer than that. You understand? Many of us are doing wonderful jobs at parenting, at you know, being good people, not robbing, shooting, and killing. Many of us are doing good jobs at doing that. You know, to me, that's a given. So how do we go deeper into what our divine purpose is and what our gifts are? Have any of you taken yourself through a self-discovery process and really thinking about what you care about, what you're passionate about, what you're good at? If you have, please let me know. Please let me know, because these are the things that I want to talk about. Like I said, this is a conversation. Have you taken yourself through that process, and what helped you be certain and be sure? Anybody? I ain't gonna wait for y'all to comment back because y'all gonna take too long. But please talk back. Let me know. I'm a strong believer that we've always been who we are. I think that we grow, we change, we develop, but there is something in our core that we were born with. You know, the earth cracked open at just the right time.
Peace, huh?
Peace.
You, oh my?
Yes, I'm doing Being in the Business of Being You.
Okay.
So you
Finish
are
up.
welcome to sit down and enjoy
I'm gonna sit back.
the workshop or the lecture or the conversation or the online training or whatever it is that we want to call it. Goddess J just came into the building. But I am a strong believer that we have always been who we are at our core. You understand? And what I was saying is that the earth cracked open at just the right time for you to come in. The stars aligned. You know, the moon got into position, the sun got into position, Mercury, Venus, everything got into position for Nzinga Bird to be born. You understand? So I have my own thing. Even if there are individuals that do the same things that I do, you know, it's plenty of people that, Adrian, you're on here right now and you're doing holistic health. I do holistic health. I seen Baba Mantu on here. You do holistic health, I do holistic health. You understand? Plenty of people do the same thing that you do, but nobody is going to do it like you. Okay? We come with our own sauce. You understand? We come with our own flavor on it. We can make the same thing. We can both make the same shea butter or the same juice, but my juice is not going to taste like your juice. You understand? And our energy is different. The energy that we put into things are unique and specific to who we are. So never doubt yourself. Never short yourself in thinking, I can't do that because other people was doing that. That's already being done. Don't do that to yourself because nobody is going to do it like you. You understand? Layla says, yes, I've been on a personal journey and I feel like I need solitude to really get into it, like complete solitude for at least a week. Perfect. So take that time and make that time for yourself because I am getting ready to give y'all some tools and some techniques, some things that you can use to really get into yourself and discover those things about yourself. So Shanika said, currently I co-own a fair trade shop, but my husband and I are working on opening an herbal shop to teach our people about mind, body, and spirit awareness, the power of herbs, and the importance of mobility. Beautiful. Beautiful. So you own a fair trade shop selling products. What has moved you into holistic health, Shanika? How did you know that that was part of your divine purpose as well? I want to know the background, because I'm getting ready to share my background with you. So I want to know the background. Keishan said it's definitely deeper than being a parent. This journey is very interesting. I'm very excited to be going on this journey with queens and enlightened ones. Ashe, salute, queen. And Adrian. Okay, here we go. Here's some background. Adrian said when her mother died due to medical neglect, due to heavy grieving, her friend got her up off of the couch. They went and got massages. And Adrian, you give excellent massages. Oh, girlfriend worked this knot, y'all, up out of my shoulder a few years ago in the middle of Kroger's during Black History Month. Okay, and I'm not mad. I went back and got me a full body. All right, but you went and you got a massage, and you were already was told that you would get a great massage by this person, that you give great massages. So I guess that massage really healed you to where you wanted to dig deeper into healing other people in that way. Am I right? You started giving massages professionally because people need to be healed. They were telling you how they recovered mentally, spiritually, and physically from your massages. So that's beautiful. Sometimes we can have a personal experience. Now, I had a personal experience. I got sick in college, and it brought me back into holistic health. But I actually can go back deeper, and I can go back further into my childhood. Not just my childhood, but I can go back further into my childhood, and I can see how I have always been a holistic and herbal healer, y'all, since I was a wee bit little girl. And you want to know why? Because I've done the self reflection and discovery work to remember those things about myself. And as I went on that journey to remember those things about myself, I was pulled in even deeper. And it was revealed to me that my healing nature did not start as a child. It started in my blood. It started in my bloodline. It's been passed down to me from my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, so forth and so on. And this is the type of self-discovery that I'm talking about when we get into being in the business of being you. Because you've always had what you needed to be successful in this way. Let me explain. When I was a little girl, and I'm going to share 3 experiences with you. Okay? And then I'm going to show you how I am still living in this truth. It's a beautiful thing. It's like I really wake up every day and I go play how I did when I was a little girl. Who don't want to do that? I know that you all want to do that. And I'm giving you the keys and I'm showing you how. You understand? I have a Being in the Business of Being You workbook that I encourage each of you to download. Okay, the workbook is $19 today. And it will be a little bit more a little bit later on, but we're doing an intro price of $19. So I have a workbook where I ask you specific questions to dig deep into yourself to discover what we're talking about. But then not only that, the workbook includes all of the steps as they pertain into being in the business of being you. But let's start at the beginning. Today is about discovering that, really tapping into that. So I'll share this story. When I was a little girl, I would spend a lot of time over my grandmother's when my mother was working. And my grandmother is from Dothan, Alabama. She's from the deep south. It's just like an hour away from Florida. And I am so blessed to have one of those families that actually got like they 40 acres. You understand? And a mule. We don't still have 40, but we still have a lot of land down south. My great-grandfather actually worked for the man that worked at the bank that helped him secure our land. So, my grandmother's from the deep south. She was raised in the country, off of the land. She was raised not only just growing her own food, but growing her own medicine. During the Great Migration, she was the first individual in my family to move north. My great-grandmother had 11 children, and my grandmother was the third oldest, the second oldest girl. So before she even had babies, she raised a whole bunch of them, or helped to raise a whole bunch of them. And she wanted to just get out and see the big city and experience something different. So my grandmother moved north with my grandfather, and for a long period of time, she lived downtown. She lived in Lincoln Courts and things of that nature. And she used a tool that I'm going to talk about. And this tool, I'm going to give you a free resource for. You share this video, I'm going to email you a free resource to use this tool that my grandmother used and that I used as well. But my grandmother used to catch the bus down to Colerain and Bank, downtown where she lived, from the home that she cleans. And she would pass this big, beautiful house in Westwood. And she would look out the window every day and she would visualize herself living in that home. And she was able to manifest that. And I am going to give you a creative visualization manifestation tool once you share this video, right? But anyway, once she moved into her home in Westwood, she had a garden in the back. And I go in the back now, I go into the garden, and now the land has shifted and slid, and she's not really able to grow things in the back of her garden. I know that breaks her heart, y'all, because she live off the land, right? But I go into it now, and it's just like a normal sized backyard. But as a child, straight up, I thought it was the Garden of Eden. Do you hear me? It was so luxurious. I remember plum trees. I remember apple trees. I remember strawberries. I remember my grandmother would bring a big ass watermelon just out the back. And I'll put it on the table. And my little eyes would be like, where you get that watermelon? Like, you grew that? It would just amaze me. Peas and cabbage and okra and all of that. All of that, y'all. It was a straight up grocery store. You hear me? But my grandmother spent many hours in this garden. Every day she was down there. You know, we'd be calling, and I was down in the garden. You know, we knew that that's where she was at. She stayed in her garden. So often I would be in her garden with her. And that's why I say this holistic thing is in my blood. Often I would be in the garden with her, and I'd just be playing, you know, chasing fireflies, putting them in a jar, things of that nature. But when she would leave the garden, that's when I would have my fun. She had a spice pantry, or she has a spice pantry upstairs in her home. And I would go upstairs to the spice pantry, and I would sniff all the herbs. I taste them, lick them, you know. I just sniff all the herbs. And whatever herbs smell good to me, I would stuff them in my pocket. I would stuff them under my shirt. And I would sneak out the back door, and I would go down into the garden. Okay? Now, once I got down into the garden, I would gather some herbs that she was growing. I would gather some dirt. I might even put some vegetables in there. I might peel me off a little cabbage leaf and shred that up and put that in her bird bath. She had a bird bath that always had some rainwater in it. And I would start mixing it, and I'd get to shaking my spices and shaking my herbs, and I'd get my stick, and I'd get to stirring it up. And I never knew what I was making, you know, but I just knew I was making something. Well, I probably did know what I was making. I had my own idea of what I was making at the time. But I would be stirring it up, and I would be coming up with these different herbal concoctions and potions and poultices and all types of stuff. And then I would always get in trouble because she would come back to her garden and, you know, her cinnamon would be empty, her oregano would be empty, and it would just be like thrown in the bush somewhere. And she would just start, Jackie, stay out of my stuff. You know, I get in trouble. But this was something that I loved to do as a child. And if you know me today, I'm still doing this. I'm still playing in that bird bath, y'all. Now it's in my kitchen, and I get my herbs, and I get my oils, and I get to mixing, and I had the same type of energy that I did as a little girl. But what I'm able to do is show up in my authentic and true self, just like I did as a small child. But I also have a business mind. I've naturally always had a business mind too. I'm going to talk about that. But now I have a business mind to use my gift with herbs and healing and create business around it, to monetize off of what my passion is and what I see as a part of my innate, my divine purpose. And that's what we're talking about. That's what being in the business of being you is about. Digging deep into yourself and figuring out what just makes you feel good. You understand? I love working with herbs and oils. It is therapeutic for me. I have my house smelling all good. I love to have my kids try this and try that. You know, this is just what we do. And because, like I said, we are all connected, when I create these things, they reach you. When I put it out there on my social media platforms and things of that nature, because of the energy, because of the authentic, y'all know what I'm saying, because I'm authentic with it, y'all gravitate towards it. Y'all attracted to it. And y'all want it just as bad as I want to make it. And that's a beautiful thing. So that's one of the ways that I've been able to rediscover and remember who I am and give that as a gift to others. So Adrian, I had a similar experience as you. As I said, I got sick in college and I went out to Yellow Springs and I got separated from it. You know, my mom wasn't raised in the country like my grandmother was. She spent her summers down there, but she was a little bit more northern, you know. So when I got sick, most of the time we was going to the doctor and I was getting an antibiotic or taking some cough syrup or something like that. But when I got sick in college and I went to Wright State, so I went to Yellow Springs one time, just out there kicking it. And y'all know Yellow Springs is real hippie, it's real natural. And I got this real thick herbal healing book and I started to dig into it and I started to remember the herbs and the spices and the things that I worked with as a child. So I went back out to Yellow Springs and bought me a whole bunch of herbs and started blending my own teas. And I healed myself. Once I healed myself, there was no going back. It was just no going back. Because I knew clearly that whatever a doctor did for me was a Band-Aid. It wasn't a true healing. And I know now that earth is the only thing that can truly heal you. So, you know, I give thanks for that experience. Because sometimes it may not be something that we love to do as a child when we're discovering who we are and how to, you know, align our entrepreneurship to who we are. Sometimes it's not something we did as a child. Sometimes it's an experience that we had as a teenager or as an adult. And we decide to align our entrepreneurship with that. Okay, so Layla, you're in the beginning stages of starting a self-care business. Mama had a saw, you knew you was on this earth for your purpose when you realized you could see spirit beings at a very early age. So yes, you've been tapped into this as a child. Now here is the thing. As a child, most children that are spiritually inclined and they begin to go out into the world and they tell people, well, I see people, or I see spirits, or I can hear this, or I had a dream and it told me this and it came true. Most people that are gifted in this divine way, when we go out into the world, we are separated from who we are. We are separated from our core. We are conditioned to believe that the things that we know are true for ourselves are not really true, or that they're not of value. And we're told, no, you need to be a doctor. You need to be a lawyer. You need to be a teacher. Or we see something on TV and we think, oh, I need to be a singer. I need to be a rapper. I need to be a basketball player. And we limit ourselves because children already know. They already know who they are. And we are no longer a part of we're no longer a part of our historical tradition, where generally children will go through a rites of passage process where for the first 7 years of their lives or so, they're just allowed to exist. They're allowed to gravitate towards whatever they gravitate towards. And the adults in their lives watch them. And about 7 years old, the adults in their lives say, okay, yeah, we see you a healer. We see you a teacher. We see you a warrior, right? And they begin to encourage those things for those children. And they begin to, just support the child and who they are. In this society, children don't experience that. You have a child that is highly physically active, a lot of energy, a lot of very good coordination and things of that nature. They're not taught, okay, you a warrior, or you an athlete, or you're supposed to do something physically inclined. On the contrary, they are taught you need to be still in school. You moving too much. You need to sit down and do this history lesson, do this mathematics. And that's not to say that these things are not important, but maybe that child needs to learn through their body. Maybe they need to use their body to learn, because that's what their natural gift is. You understand? So, this is why I say go back into who you were as a child. Go back into who you were as a child. Now, what I want to do is I want to put the link. Let me do that. Can I do that? Yeah, I don't want to mess nothing up. I'm going to put the link to the workbook, because if I'm speaking the truth for you, if I'm saying something that you feel like you can relate to, okay, boom, there it is. If I'm speaking the truth for you, if you feel like I'm saying something that you can relate to, if you feel like I'm saying something that you want to dig deeper into, and you want to take yourself through a self-discovery process so that you can really begin to identify and break down what your gift is, and then once you have that broken down and identified, then you want the steps to know how to turn that into $1 or $1 million. Then you want the steps to learn and to know how to really go about the business side of it. Because right now we're talking about how we simply exist. But how do you turn your existence into what sustains you? And you need steps to follow to do that. You need to download the workbook that I just put in the comment sections. Let me see. Where is it at? Do y'all see it? I'm scrolling. Y'all saying a lot. Boom. There it is. So it's a payhip.com link. It's payhip.com/B/D8V9. Okay? And it's in the comment section, so you can scroll up or scroll down and see that. You want to download that book, because today we are just talking about the self-discovery process. Next week we'll talk about how to monetize what you discover about yourself. So go ahead and get started this week by getting the book, working it for the week, and then next week we move on. Okay? So I also said I wanted to share some other things about myself as a child and how these things came back up for me as an adult. Y'all gonna be tripped out by this. So, as a child, I was that one kid. First of all, I was the only black kid on my block. Okay? And I really give thanks, because this is something else that was instilled in me as a child that I still see show up in who I am today. I really give thanks to my father. May he rest in paradise, Edward Byrd, Ashe. Because he instilled in me at a very young age how powerful I was, because I was a black child, a black girl. And because I had such a strong history, and that my ancestors were strong, and this is why they were strong. You know, his home was a bookstore. It was like a black bookstore, y'all. And it was like a art gallery. So, can I show you something? You know, this is how I was raised. When I would come over to his house, it would be like, read this book. Read that book. You understand? And this is just at the shop. This is not even my home collection. It would be like, you know, come on, let's go to this museum. Let's go to that museum. You know? And his walls was covered, wall to wall, with beautiful pieces of art. And he lived in D.C. when I was younger. So we would make a whole day out of going to art galleries and going to bookstores and, learning about history and culture. And here I am today in my culture center that also serves as a bookstore, that also serves as an art gallery. So we talked about a few different things when it comes to self-discovery. Sometimes it's the things that you loved and you enjoyed to do as a child. Sometimes it is an experience that you had as a child or as an adult that has revealed your purpose to you. But we also need to think about our values and our morals and what we were taught and what was instilled in us, and pay attention to what is still important to us to this day. So there is a self-discovery questionnaire that I've included in the workbook where I ask a lot of these things. I really ask you to break it down and really get into it. And I ask some other questions as well to help you get a clear vision of what you have to offer. What you have to offer to this world as far as your entrepreneurship is concerned. And how you stay in alignment with who you are in your entrepreneurship. So going back, and thank you for sticking with me because I know I'm here and I'm there. So going back, as I said, I was the first little black kid that lived on our street, or within a few blocks of our street when we first moved out there. And I really give thanks for my father because I didn't feel inferior. I didn't feel weird or like I couldn't show up and be myself. I still was myself. And I was the only child that I remember that used to actively and regularly set up shop in front of my home. Or sometimes I would take my little table and I would take my little chair and I would go a block down to another little intersection. And I would set up shop, y'all. I would make my big lemonade sign. And I would put that up there and I'd be selling my lemonade. My grandmother taught me how to sew. And I had got all this material from a yard sale from this little old lady. And I sold all of these doll clothes and Barbie clothes. So I remember setting up my little Barbie boutique on the corner or in front of my house. My most successful business was Sweet Treats. Now, would you look at that? Would you look at how that come back around, Sweet Sister Splash? But my most successful childhood business was Sweet Treats. And I made homemade popsicles. And it had gotten so successful that summer to where kids would be knocking on my door early in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, can we get some popsicles? Can we get some popsicles? And I had used up all my mama's juice and all my mama's pop. And she was like, you about to take all of your profit and we about to go restock at Thriftway, get your inventory back up. So I give thanks for my mother and I give thanks for my stepfather because they were entrepreneurial. And I don't really remember them getting entrepreneurial until I was about in high school. So I was already on it, but they nurtured it. And my stepdad told my mom when I started remembering these things about myself as an adult, he said, yeah, she got it. She going to be a successful entrepreneur because she was like that as a kid, And I see it. I see it coming full circle, And some of you may be able to relate to this. Some of you have had experiences as a child and you've brought it back into your life and you see yourself doing it right now. Others, you are still trying to figure that out. And that's okay. That's a part of what this process is all about. So, let me see. Anybody else commented? True that. So you were set apart as a... Okay, so Sisters Living Roots, says she can no longer hear me. Can y'all hear me? Okay, she hears me now. All right, very good. So there are other things. There are other stories that I share in the book where I'm talking about things that I did as a child that I see myself doing now. What's most important is how I created a business around these things. And that is really what we want to talk about next week. We want to talk about how do you take these natural gifts that you have and create business around them. What steps do you take? How do you organize your business? How do you create the blueprints for your business? How do you collaborate and create partnerships with other people for your business? These are the things that I talk about in the book. These are the things that I want to do on the free online trainings like the one that we're doing right now. If you do a reading, can you do one for me, please? Yes, Asia, we absolutely can. Like I said, Goddess J is in the house, and we're going to wait probably about an hour, and we're going to go live. And y'all,
tell them pull up.
Yeah, pull up. We at 1218 Sycamore Street, and we are here till 4 o'clock today. I'm leaving early because I'm taking my babies to a play tonight, which was something else that I loved to do when I was little. Write plays, write poems, write books, write, I was about to say write curriculums. Because now, you see, that's what it's turned into. I still write plays, I still write books, but I also write curriculums and lesson plans and things of that nature too. So that was something else that's always been with me. That's always been in me. So we got to get back to that. We got to get back to that. Okay, so I talked a little bit about creative visualization. That is another really good tool that can be used to tap deeper into what your goals are for yourself and what your goals are for your business. A lot of times people think that we manifest based off of our thoughts, but that's only half the story. You truly manifest based off of what you feel, what emotion is attached to that thought, because the emotion, the feeling is what holds the vibration. And the vibration is what is felt, you understand? By the universe. The universe can hear your thoughts, but for the universe to feel your vibration and gravitate towards it, attach to it, and begin a manifestation process for you, there has to be an emotion, there has to be a feeling behind that. So creative visualization is so awesome because it helps you tap into your feelings behind your thoughts. And it's a really fancy way to daydream. And it's not really even that fancy. It's really just basically intentionally and consciously daydreaming. But I have a creative visualization activity for you in the workbook. And like I said, for everybody that shared this video, I am going to send you the link to download a free creative visualization exercise that you can do as well from home. You'll download it directly to your phone, and then you'll just pull it up and you'll listen to it, and it's going to take you through a creative visualization meditation. So I have that available for you today too. All right, so this feed is looking really good. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section. I will be checking back onto this live throughout today, and I will be responding and commenting to everybody that has watched the live. And I'm just really grateful that y'all been here today. So I'm about to spend the rest of my time here getting a little bit into the business of being me. We about to read some cards. Jayla about to get into the business of being her. She is a excellent reader when it comes to tarot. Very insightful. I'm sure that was a gift that she's always had. And now she's exploring it deeper. So y'all pull up, and we can continue the conversation when you get here and when you come to get your card reading, all right? So again, we're at 1218 Sycamore. Make sure you go back through the links and you are back through the comments, and you get the link for the workbook so that you can get started on this series of being in the business of being you. All right? Thanks everybody for watching. Y'all have a good day and all that good stuff. Say peace, Jayla.
Peace.
We'll be back. We'll be back in about an hour or so, but we'll be discussing something totally different. So y'all stay tuned in. All right? 1.